Hi, my name is Abdulgani Kayode Otukobe. In this video, I'll be talking on a guide to PowerPoint slide preparation for Score Booster Education Project, a non-for-profit organization that is involved in the production of audiovisual materials and other study materials for secondary school and primary school education in Nigeria. On the first page of your PowerPoint slide, you'll be expected to have the cover page, and this cover page should tell us the subject and then the web address of Score Booster Education Project, which is www.scoreboosterproject.com. So what I've done in this particular video presentation is, on the left hand side, I will tell you what you need to do, and on the right hand side I will show you a sample of what I have done to reflect what I'm trying to explain. The next slide, page number 2, should be the title page. So on this title page, we should know the topic you're talking about, which I've used calculus as an example. And if that topic has got a subtopic, in this instance, integration, so you should talk about integration. And then what lesson is it? Is it lesson 1, lesson 3, lesson, or the last lesson? In this instance, is lesson 1, so clearly stated. What guide are you using? When I say guide, I mean like what syllabus are you using? So I'm using West African Examination Council WAEC syllabus. And at what level is it? Is it at SS3, that's senior secondary school 3, or senior secondary school 1, which in this instance is the level I've put here, and then the date I've prepared it. I mean, the importance of this date really is for me to be able to track my work, and if I need to improve on the PowerPoint in future, I want to tweak it, or I want to do anything with it, at least I will have an idea of when I last prepared this particular one. And then it's important we know who prepared it. So in this instance, I've put AK Otukogbe, that's Abdulgani Kayode Otukogbe. And then my qualifications, my BSc from Obafemi Awolowo University in Nigeria, and my postgraduate certificate in education from the University of Huddersfield in the UK. And then I've put the Score Booster web address here. You also need to tell the listener or the person that is watching the video, or the learner as the case may be, the expected lesson outcomes and objectives for the particular session. And this is very, very important, that you're in sync with the expected learning outcomes and objectives as clearly stated according to the syllabus you're using. It's important not to assume for the examining body or the awarding body that has prepared that syllabus you're using, so that you don't lead the learner astray. So you clearly state according to the lesson outcomes they expect for that particular topic, and what are the objectives they clearly stated there. And if the objectives are not clearly stated, for instance, or the lesson outcomes are not clearly stated, by going through the syllabus, you should be able to extract the requisite information you need to get what the lesson outcome of the outcomes for the topic are, and then what the lesson objectives are as well. You move to the topic. You talk about the topic, which is the main topic, is calculus. You explain what calculus is, for instance, in this case, and then the subtopic of what you'll be talking about should follow the next slide. Should follow on the next slide, sorry, rather. So on the next slide, you talk about integration as a subtopic. Then you explain what integration is and every other thing you want to tell the new learner about integration. And then you have to talk about, has integration got subtopic under it as well, or is it just integration? So for instance, integration, under integration, you have integration as summation, integration by parts, integration by substitution, etc. So I've listed like 3 different aspects of integration. Then you have to talk about, for instance, integration by parts as a topic. You want to treat that. So you explain what integration by part is and everything. The importance of doing this is that you're trying to scaffold the lesson. And when I say you're scaffolding the lesson, that means it's like you put a ladder, for instance, on a wall, and you want someone to get from the bottommost part of from the ground level to the top or to the roof level of a house. So in order to assist that person, you put a ladder there, or a scaffold as the case may be, and then the person will be able to move from that low level to the high level without support. So by going through this gradual procedure and process of preparing your slide for this video, your learners will be able to move gradually and learn about the topic you're talking about, irrespective of the subject you're treating or the topic or what have you. It's important not to assume for the learners that a learner should know this automatically. It's about trying to explain what is important without talking down on the learner to the learner. Then if it's a topic that's got its own theory, principle or what have you, you talk about it, at least for that person to understand what you're talking about. Then under integration by part, for instance, we've got production of 2 functions. So you want to treat that. This is still trying to like scaffold the session or the lesson for the learner. So you talk about that, you treat that. You now come to the point where you have sample questions, for instance. So your sample questions should reflect what you've been treating so far. So what I've done here is, even though I've not put any question there, I've put question 1, Q2, and Q3, representing Q1, question 1, question 2, question 3. So here, I'm assuming if I'm going to put questions here, I'm going to have low-level challenging question for question 1, and then I have a mid-level challenging question that will take a bit of more time and understanding compared to question 1 to solve. And then here I'll put a more advanced level question so that I'll make provision for all the group of learners expectedly that I assume will be watching this particular video, for instance. After having done the sample questions, you now give the practice questions. So you can use the same principle of having the low-level questions, mid-level questions, high-end, high-level questions. But it's important at this point to explain and encourage the learners without talking down on the learners or assuming for the learners that even though the next slide you're going to provide the answers, the learner should try to practice and show some level of resilience, even if the learner is struggling, before the learner resolve to looking at the solution to the question. So if the learner is struggling, it would be advisable that the learner go back, watch the previous videos, particularly the areas that the learner is struggling with, to understand the question in order to be able to answer the question. The immediate slide that should follow the practice question slide should be the solution to the practice questions, so that the learners can track what they've done. Did they get it right or did they get it wrong? You now have another slide after the solution slide that will talk about further reading or suggested further reading, as I've stated here. Under this suggested further reading, you have a reading list of what or sources learners can use to improve and learn more on the particular topic. So it might be relevant website, like I've put Score Booster website here. It could be past questions back that are relevant to the particular topic or subject you're treating. In this instance, I've put why past questions back. So maybe you have particular years in mind. I've put 1999 to 2015, for instance. Yours might be 1972 to 1980. It depends. And then I've put a new general mathematics for senior secondary school 1. I've put essential mathematics for senior secondary school 1, for instance, or what have you, as the case may be. You should not forget at the end of the video clip to say thank you for the person that's just listened or watched your video, because I think, particularly in this era, it's a privilege if someone stops by to listen to you, learn from you, especially someone that does not probably know you or probably would probably not get to meet you. So likewise, I would like to say thank you, and don't forget to visit Score Booster Project's website, which is www.scoreboosterproject.com, for your educational audiovisual materials and other relevant materials. Thank you. Bye.